We have two very important programs that are a part of U.S.-Japan programs. One of the programs you've heard a lot about today, and that's the TOMODACHI Initiative. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce to you Laura Winthrop Abbot, the Executive Director of the TOMODACHI Initiative. Just quickly, the vision of Tomodachi, if you haven't understood what Tomodachi is all about, it's stated in their materials, but let me just read what the vision statement says, because I think it's particularly important for us to know this. Vision of Tomodachi is to foster the next generation of Japanese and Americans, a Tomodachi generation. Very interesting way to say that. This is the Tomodachi generation of driven doers, thinkers, creators who are invested in the future of U.S.-Japan relations, who appreciate each other's cultures and countries, and possess the globally oriented skills and mindsets needed to thrive and make a difference. That's the vision of the Tomodachi Initiative. And today we saw three individuals who I think embody the vision of the Tomodachi Initiative. The work of Tomodachi, in my view, is incredible. Laura's going to give us a kind of an update on what's going on, but it's incredible. But it's needed somebody in Tokyo to lead the effort. U.S.-Japan Council was so fortunate to find a leader to help us there. Ambassador Roos was very helpful in identifying Laura Winthrop Abbot to join us in Japan. Just a little bit of background about Laura. She spent several years working in Washington, D.C. For the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. In that role, she was involved in international development and foreign assistance. Just before joining the U.S.-Japan Council, she was a Council of Foreign Relations Hitachi Fellow, working at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. In my view, and I hear about the reports of Tomodachi all the time, Laura has been very instrumental in what's been making the Tomodachi Initiative a success, and we look forward to continuing to work with her in this very important project. So let me introduce to you Laura Winthrop Abbot. Laura?
Thank you so much, Henry, for those kind remarks. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Laura Winthrop Abbot, Executive Director of the Tomodachi Initiative, and I'm based in Tokyo. So in case you were wondering, this big belly here is not just all the great Japanese food. I'm actually 7 months pregnant as well, and a bit jet lag coming in from Tokyo, so I apologize in advance if there are any mishaps in this presentation. So I think most of you already know a bit about the Tomodachi Initiative, and I see a lot of you wearing your wristbands and your lapel pins, so I'm glad for that Tomodachi pride. The Tomodachi Initiative was founded after the Great East Japan earthquake last March in order to contribute to the longer-term recovery of the region through investments in people and investments in young people in particular. We have sought to empower the leaders, creators, and opinion shapers of the next generation and provide them with opportunities to connect with each other and connect with the United States. From the start, we've been lucky to have the support of the U.S. government, the U.S.-Japan Council, the Japanese government, and many U.S. and Japanese companies. Oh, and even the support of celebrities like Tom Cruise, who you see on the top left. Most of you, and certainly anyone living in Japan during and after the March 11th disasters, will have heard of Operation Tomodachi, the joint military operation which brought 24,000 American troops together with 100,000 Japan self-defense forces in one of the U.S.'s largest ever peacetime military deployments. This military operation contributed enormously to the relief and rescue operations. The U.S. government, led by U.S. Ambassador to Japan, John Roos, wanted to continue that support for the longer term and do so in a way that partnered with a very active private sector that had stepped in to help after the disaster. It was in that spirit of friendship and lasting partnership that the Tomodachi Initiative was born. As Secretary Clinton said at this very conference last year, together, we hope to create a Tomodachi generation that is deeply committed to the future of our relationship. Since that time, we have been driven by the values of friendship, leadership, and hope for the Tohoku region and beyond. Our vision is to invest in young people, provide them opportunities for mutual understanding between the U.S. and Japan, and thereby to create the next generation of leaders and friends between these two countries. So how do we do this? Well, we are a public-private partnership between the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo and the U.S.-Japan Council. We rely on the financial support of the private sector, and we partner with nonprofit organizations in the U.S. and Japan to help us implement the programs we run. In this way, we also help to strengthen the capacity of other nonprofits. For example, today I'm pleased to announce a new arrangement we've developed with the National Association of Japan-America Societies to partner with local Japan-America societies to develop smaller-scale exchange programs across the U.S. So thank you, Peter Kelly and Najas, for your creativity and ingenuity in helping us to develop this partnership. And I'd just like to take a second to highlight some of our corporate supporters who've made the Tomodachi Initiative possible and have made the dreams of thousands of young people come true. You'll see on here some of the largest and most well-respected corporate names in Japan and the United States. And you'll also see some individuals, such as Paul Yonomine, whose contribution in honor of his late father has helped to make baseball dreams in Tohoku come true. Thank you all for that support. The Tomodachi Initiative programs fall into three broad categories: educational and academic programs, cultural programs in sports, music, and the arts, and entrepreneurship and leadership programs. In this calendar year so far, we've run dozens of events and programs, touching the lives of several thousand participants. This summer, we sent nearly 450 students from Tohoku to the United States on exchange programs. Most of our programs are geared towards younger students, with 70% of our programs focused on high school age students or younger. We also have some programs for college and young professional students. I'd just like to take the opportunity to highlight a few of these programs in each of these categories. This summer, the Tomodachi SoftBank Leadership Program sent 300 students to the University of California at Berkeley, and you'll get to hear from one of them in just a minute. Students on this program received iPads, and the leadership curriculum included instruction on how to use them. Upon returning to Japan, 6 of the students were selected to present their experiences in this program and their plans for the development of the Tohoku region, using the iPad to an audience of 100 people at the Apple Store in Ginza in central Tokyo. The Coca-Cola Homestay Program sent 60 students to stay in homes in diverse places across the United States, such as Salem, Oregon, Lexington, Kentucky, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Burlington, Vermont. One student who lost her family in Japan in the tsunami said she finally felt as though she had a family again. She was talking about her host family in America. On the Tomodachi Mitsubishi Financial Group program, students spent time in Southern California living with host families and learning about the history of Japanese Americans. I just wanted to take a moment here and thank the many, many council members in this room and also the U.S.-Japan Council staff who really made these programs happen and added so much to the value of the students' experience here when they were here in the United States this summer. So thank you all for that. Through our partnerships with Major League Baseball and musical groups like Young Americans, we've also been helping to bring a little bit of America directly to Tohoku. With MLB, we've helped bring Major League stars such as Hall of Famer Cal Ripken to Tohoku to teach baseball clinics. We've also collaborated with the National Basketball Association and the U.S. women's soccer team to provide clinics to students. Sports, music, and the arts provide great ways for young people to connect across the barriers of language. Finally, we're working to develop the leaders of Japan and the leaders of the U.S.-Japan relationship for the future through a variety of entrepreneurship and leadership development programs. One such program, the Tomodachi Tohoku Challenge Business Plan Competition, was highlighted at today's lunch session. I hope you have the opportunity to meet those 3 finalists who are here today in the audience. In addition to the programs, which are the real core of our work, we've also had a steady stream of events, including some fun ones with celebrities who've wanted to show support for the Tomodachi Initiative. In these photos, you can see students meeting with some of their heroes, including Johnny Depp, Will Smith, and will.i.am. In the top right, you also see a photo with Ambassador Roos and Lady Gaga. She's there in the sunglasses. You'll see she's holding a teacup. This is quite a special teacup. She later auctioned it off and gave the proceeds to Tomodachi to start a fellowship for students from Tohoku who wanted to study the arts in the United States. This last photo here was taken in July, when Secretary Clinton had the opportunity to meet some of the students she had talked about wanting to support when she was here for last year's U.S.-Japan Council annual conference. This audience is no stranger to some of the recent trends in people-to-people connections between the U.S. and Japan. As many of you know, in the last decade, the number of Japanese studying in the United States has dropped by more than half. Yet, through the Tomodachi Initiative, we have found that the interest in the United States is still strong, and the desire to study abroad is still alive if students are given the opportunity. For our SoftBank Leadership Program, for example, we had over 2,000 applicants for 300 spots. For the Coca-Cola Homestay Program, we had over 900 applicants for only 60 spots. We believe the desire is there, and these young people are ready to learn, lead, and make a difference. So join us in helping to create and sustain this Tomodachi generation. Thank you.